Hello, Cules. FC Barcelona is on everyone's lips, and it's no wonder, because what the club confirmed today is the kind of headline that makes you rub your eyes and check if you're dreaming. While Madridismo is in shock, we, those who have Blaugrana in our hearts, celebrate as if we had already won the Champions League. But let's take it step by step, because there's a lot to say, and we don't want to miss a single detail. Get ready for a journey into the heart of the current Barça, with all the latest news, juicy rumors, and that touch of magic that only the camp can offer. Today, the sun shines a little brighter in the county city, and it's not because summer has lingered. FC Barcelona has dropped news that sends all of Barça fandom into ecstasy. Hansi Flick, the German strategist who already has us dreaming of high-voltage football, has signed his renewal until 2027. Yes, Cules, the man who has brought back the illusion to the team with his high pressing, intensity, and a style that reminds us of Guardiola's best days is here to stay. And that's not all. The club has confirmed the arrival of a star-studded reinforcement for the attack. Marcus Rashford, loaned from Manchester United, is already Blaugrana. This isn't one of those rumors that circulate on social media like a Frankie de Jong pass. No, it's official, sealed, and stamped with the Barça crest. Madridismo, already nervous about our start in La Liga, must now scramble for oxygen. Because this Barça isn't here to take a stroll, it's here to crush everything. Let's talk about Flick first, because this man is the architect of everything that's happening. Since his arrival, the team has rediscovered that spark that made us vibrate. Do you remember those matches where the ball seemed to move on its own, as if it had a life of its own? Well, Flick has brought that feeling back. With a record of 13 unbeaten matches in all competitions, Barça plays with a confidence we haven't seen in a long time. In La Liga, after 3 match days, we have 2 wins and 1 draw, with 7 goals scored and only 3 conceded. And pay attention, it's not just the result, but how it's achieved. Possession at 70%, 62 shots in 3 matches, and 1,585 successful passes are numbers that speak for themselves. It's as if the team has rediscovered the tiki-taka manual, but with a modern, more vertical, more German, more Flick touch. And if that already gives you goosebumps, subscribe to the Cule channel, because what's coming is even more epic, and you won't want to miss it. But it's not just Flick, who already deserves a lot of credit. The team is buzzing, and that's where Rashford's thunderbolt comes in. The Englishman, who has had ups and downs at Manchester, arrives hungry to show he's still that electric striker who conquered Old Trafford. Imagine Rashford sprinting down the left wing, combining with YAMAL on the right, and Robert Lewandowski lurking in the box like a shark smelling blood. That's not something to stand up and applaud for. Rashford's loan is a masterstroke by Joan Laporta and his team, who knew how to take advantage of United's doubts to bring in a world-class player without breaking the bank. And yes, we know the club's finances aren't at their best, but this kind of operation shows that Barça is once again becoming that club that moves the market with cleverness. Now, not everything is rosy, because football is like that, a roller coaster of emotions. Rashford's arrival has sparked debate, as some say the team already has enough forwards. But, Cules, let's think with a cool head. Ansu Fati is on loan at Monaco. Ferran Torres is as versatile as a Swiss Army knife, but he doesn't always perform at a star level. And Lewandowski, though still a killer, isn't getting any younger. Rashford brings speed, dribbling, and goals. Exactly what we need to compete in the Champions League against giants like City or Bayern. Plus, Flick has already made it clear that he wants rotations, and having a bench with names like Rashford, Rafinha, and Yamal is like having a luxury arsenal. Madridismo, which mocked our finances a few years ago, must now look at us with envy as we build a team that strikes fear. And speaking of envy, let's talk about LAMINE and Yamal, because this kid is from another planet. At 17, he's not just an undisputed starter, but he's also renewed until 2031 and become the highest-paid player on the team. Yes, Cules, a product of La Masia, raised with the club's values, is leading the project. LAMINE is like that young cousin who arrives at the family dinner and suddenly steals all the attention. With his dribbles, vision, and maturity that doesn't match his age, he even makes rivals bow at his feet. The other day, in the match against Las Palmas, he delivered an assist that looked like it came straight out of a video game. And the best part is, he's not alone. Pau Cubarsí, Marc Casas, and Pablo Torre are other names from the Cantera that are making waves. La Masia, gentlemen, remains the crown jewel, but let's not stray from the thunderbolt, because there's more. The club has also confirmed the arrival of Joan Garcia, Espanyol's goalkeeper, for €26.3 million. This move has raised eyebrows, as Marc-André ter Stegen, our captain and the last survivor of Luis Enrique's Champions League, is still on the team. However, Flick and the management have decided to bet on competition in goal. Garcia, 24, has shown at Espanyol that he has feline reflexes and a distribution style that fits Barca like a glove. Ter Stegen, who isn't used to sitting on the bench, will have to fight, of course, and that can only be good for the team. After all, competition brings out the best in the stars, right? And while the team is strengthening, there are also departures that have made headlines. Inigo Martinez has left for Al Nassr. Pau Victor, for 12 million plus variables, and players like Lenglet, Alex Valle, and Oriol Romeu have left to lighten the wage bill. These decisions, though painful for some, are part of Laporta's strategy to clean up the finances. Because yes, Cules, Barca is still in the red with a debt hovering around €1.9 billion, but there's light at the end of the tunnel. Deals with Nike and Spotify, added to the refinancing of Espai Barca, are giving the club some breathing room. And although the new camp isn't ready yet, the idea of returning home to a modernized stadium makes us dream big. But let's get back to the pitch, because that's where the magic happens. Flick's Barca doesn't just win, it seduces. The match against Valladolid was an ode to football, 4-0, with goals from Lewandowski, Rafinha, and a brace from Yamal that left everyone speechless. The team's high pressing is suffocating, and rivals barely have time to breathe. It's as if Barca has rediscovered its DNA, but with a touch of modernity that makes it unpredictable. And watch out, a tough group awaits us in the Champions League, but with this team, who says we can't dream of the Orejona? Madridismo, which celebrates Mbappé, must be watching us out of the corner of their eye as Barca reinvents itself without needing to spend 200 million on a single player. By the way, speaking of rivals, we can't ignore the rumors swirling around potential transfers. Nico Williams, Athletics winger, remains the wet dream of many Cules. His speed and dribbling would be the perfect complement to Yamal and Rashford, but there are also names like Leroy Sane, Mohamed Salah, and even Karim Adeyemi on the list. Can you imagine a trident with those names? It would be like bringing together Messi, Suarez, and Neymar, but with a Red Bull twist. Of course, any transfer will depend on finances, and there, Laporta will have to work miracles. There's also talk of a world-class left-back to challenge Bald and an affordable right-back to give Count a rest. The board knows it can't sleep on the job, because the competition in Europe is fierce. And if you're already freaking out about all this, subscribe to the Cule channel, because what's coming is even stronger. Here, we don't just report the news, we live it with the same passion as you. This Barca is building something great, and you won't want to miss it. Getting back to the team, we can't forget the veterans who remain key. Lewandowski, at 37, scores like he's 25. Frenkie de Jong, though rumors swirl about his possible departure, remains the engine of the midfield. And what about Rafinha, who has been reborn under Flick? The Brazilian, who renewed until 2028, plays with a confidence reminiscent of his Leeds days. Every time he touches the ball, you feel like something big is about to happen. But not everything is perfect, and we have to be honest. The injury to Marc Bernal, one of the gems of La Masia, was a hard blow. The youngster, who promised to be a starter in midfield, will be out for several months, forcing Flick to get creative. Fortunately, players like Casas and Gavi, who is back to his best after injury, are ready to step up. Gavi, by the way, is the soul of the team. That physical deployment, that grit, that love for the crest. It's like Xavi Hernandez came back at 22. Another hot topic is Espai Barca. The new camp is progressing, but the socios still don't know where we'll play this season. Montjuic was a temporary home, but we all dream of returning to the Blaugrana temple. The board has promised the stadium will be ready soon, and with the ongoing improvements, it will be an architectural jewel. Imagine Rashford scoring a spectacular goal in a packed camp with 100,000 Cules screaming his name. Doesn't that give you goosebumps? While the team shines on the pitch, the board isn't stopping. The deal with Sieben Global Battery until 2028 is further proof that the club is working to strengthen its finances. Every euro counts, and Laporta knows it. That's why, even though there are rumors about departures like De Jong or Araujo, the president has made it clear that only those who ask to leave will go. Barça is no longer the club that sells its stars out of necessity. Now, we negotiate from a position of strength, and that, Jules, is excellent news. On the horizon, the season promises strong emotions. The Champions League is the big goal, but La Liga isn't far behind. Real Madrid, with Mbappé and Vinicius, will be a tough nut to crack, but this Barça isn't afraid of anyone. Flick at the helm, a team balanced between youth and experience, and the fans' support. Anything is possible. And let's not forget the Copa del Rey and the Supercopa, where Barça is always a favorite. This team is hungry, and when Barça is hungry, the world trembles. So, Jules, this is just the beginning. The thunderbolt of Rashford, Flick's renovation, Yamal's brilliance, and the solidity of this project make us dream big. Madridismo may be in shock, but we are in glory. And if you want to keep living every moment of this Barça with us, subscribe to the channel, because you won't see this on any news broadcast. Jules, we're riding the crest of the wave, with our hearts beating at 1,000 miles per hour for this Barça that keeps giving us joy. The thunderbolt of Marcus Rashford and Flick's renovation are just the tip of the iceberg, because this team has so much more to offer, and the atmosphere in Barça is hotter than a summer on the Costa Brava. Let's dive into the details that make this moment unique, because Barcelonismo doesn't live on titles alone, but on those little stories that make us love our club even more. Hold on tight, because we're continuing to analyze what's happening in the Blaugrana universe with that touch of passion and a pinch of humor that never hurts. Let's start with the locker room, which is on fire, in a good way. Rashford's arrival isn't just a transfer, it's a message to the world. Barça is back in the big league market. But how does a player like him fit into a team that already has LAMINE Yamal flying on the right, Lewandowski hunting for goals in the box, and Rafinha rediscovering his best form? The answer is on Flick's board. The German has set up a system where flexibility is key. Rashford isn't here to be a fixed starter, but to bring versatility. He can play on the left, in the center, and even as a false nine if needed. Imagine a tough Champions League match with Rashford coming off the bench at the 60th minute, fresh-legged, and the rival defenses already exhausted from chasing Yamal. It's like unleashing a wolf in a sheep pen. And speaking of wolves, Flick manages the team like a true alpha, ensuring every player knows their role but without losing the freedom to shine. Another detail that's making waves is the team's internal dynamic. Training sessions at the Ciutat Esportiva Joan Gamper are a spectacle. According to sources close to the club, Flick has brought an intensity not seen since the Luis Enrique days. The sessions are like a choreography, quick passes, high pressing, and match simulations that feel like finals. The players are so dialed in that even the youth players called up to train with the first team are left speechless. And here's a fun detail. Flick has introduced a challenge system during training, where players compete in precision and speed drills. The other day, GAVI and PEDRI went head-to-head in a one-touch passing exercise, and the atmosphere was so competitive that even the coaching staff ended up applauding. These little things, though they may seem insignificant, are what build a united, hungry team with the mindset of, "We are Barça, and no one stops us." But it's not all fun and games. The goalkeeping situation is a real drama worthy of Netflix. The arrival of Joan Garcia has put Marc-Andre ter Stegen in an uncomfortable position, and that's not something Jules are used to. Ter Stegen, our captain, the man who has saved the team more times than we can count, must now prove he's still the number one. But don't get it wrong, this isn't a crisis. Ter Stegen is a professional through and through, and in the first sessions with Garcia, he's been seen giving advice to the new goalkeeper like a big brother who doesn't want to lose his spot but knows the team comes first. Garcia, for his part, is no ordinary rookie. At Espanyol, he proved he could be a wall in goal, and his footwork fits like a glove with Flick style, which demands the goalkeeper be the first playmaker. Who will start against the next La Liga rival? That's the big question, and Flick isn't giving anything away. But one thing is clear, having two goalkeepers of this level is a luxury few clubs can afford.